Bonjour everyone, Pantoufleee here today for a new video in which we are going to take a look at something Wargaming introduced during the 9.0 update, the Type 71, and not necessarily for the tank itself, but rather what is surrounding it, to the point that it's going to be a complete game changer. We are not necessarily going to focus on the tank, as I just mentioned. I really want to talk about the equipments that Wargaming has implemented into this tank, or onto this tank. Basically, if you take a look at all tanks beside the Type 71 in the game right now, all of them are equipped pretty much the same. You have the choice between 9 equipments, and all of those 9 equipments are going to be the same regardless of the class of tank you're playing, tank destroyer, light tank. It doesn't care the kind of provision you're using either, etc, etc. And I remember correctly that back in the good old days when I was playing World of Tanks PC, we had the exact same system, which resulted in every single player playing the exact same equipment, which is logical because some equipments are overall better than others. But what Wargaming did with the Type 71 is truly different. For those of you that don't have the pleasure of playing that tank right now, when you will unlock it, you will see that there is a slot of equipment which allows you to choose between more gun depression or a better mobility. And overall, if you take a little bit of hate on this, you realize that both equipments are totally good. There is not a single one that is above the other. It all depends on your playstyle. And I thought, okay, you know what? What if we expanded that thing to other tanks? And what if that's the plan of Wargaming? Because to be honest, it's not just random that they are putting and implementing new equipments on only one tank. I feel like they want to test something that will be much wider, much bigger when they will have the occasion to do so. And I feel like this thing is allowing us to get a new set of equipment depending on the tank you use. And why not having personal equipments or specific equipments for every single tier 10 tank? Because of course they're not going to bother putting that at tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, etc, etc. No. If they really want to focus on those equipments, it's going either to be from tier 8 to tier 10 or just tier 10. But if they did that, not only will we see some fresh air into the gameplay, because obviously when you equip all your tanks the same because you don't have the choice, you don't feel like playing anymore because everything is redundant and it's the exact same thing again and again. But if we give you the possibility of having 2 different playstyles with one single tank, not only are you doubling the fun for people because they have the choice, but also you just double the length of life of the average player in this game, because obviously when you have more things to do, you stay a little bit more and therefore you play the game more often. So in definitive, in my opinion, what Wargaming did with the 9.0 update was a crazy move. They are just giving us a taste of what they are probably cooking for the upcoming updates. Of course, they still have a lot to do. The HD maps, and trust me, it's going to take a lot of time. The HD tanks as well, because after all, since they announced it, they are putting 3 or 4 tanks every single update, if we don't count the premiums that are added every single time. And in definitive, it gives us a game that, on the long run, will be full HD, and that's for the best, obviously. But I would like to get your opinion, guys, because there is also one downside to that equipment system. Basically, is it not going to do the exact same as before? Like, you have the choice between multiple equipments, but in the end, after testing them, you just stick to one, the one that fits more your playstyle. And if it's the case, are we not going to get the exact same problem with people equipping their tanks the same and therefore having the exact same tank again and again and again? Personally, I don't think so. I don't think so, because even if it's going to be the case maybe on the long run, you will always have new players that didn't play the game that will prefer one equipment instead of another, even if the whole community and YouTubers and whoever you want tells them to use the other one. And if they do that, it's going to be quite interesting because, well, It's always surprising for me when I play against the Type 71, not knowing if he's using the gun depression equipment or the mobility equipment. And in the end, when you have the choice between both of those, you don't know. You don't know what the guy in front of you will take. So obviously, it's a great idea, and I truly support Wargaming on their decision to add this kind of equipment. Now, let's try to imagine what it could do on other tanks. And specifically, why not start with the Jagdpanzer E100? For example, this is a slow tank, the Jagdpanzer E100, so there are a couple of equipments regarding the mobility that are totally useless, aka the one that I'm just gonna show you right now. By the way, a crazy game right there, not mine, Ace Tanka. I'm gonna give a quick shout out to the guy that played. I did not even pay attention, I apologize. But GG Mystic LV, that was a crazy game, and 2.1k experience, this is quite a lot. So I was saying, for example, let's take the Jagdpanzer E100. We all know that this tank is slow as hell, so the equipment concerning the engine accelerator or improved control or whatever touches the mobility is totally useless. So what if, instead of having this, we had something that gave us the choice between maybe increasing by, let's say, I don't know, 15% your damage per shot, or increasing your HE damage. For example, when you shoot at something regularly with the Jagdpanzer E100 with HE, you will do 500 damage. Let's say an equipment that allows you to get 650 damage per shot with HE. These kind of things would make this tank even more interesting, because at least it will give us another reason to play it rather than playing, for example, a Grail 15, an Object 268, tanks that are unfortunately and overall better than the Jagdpanzer E100. And well, if you apply that principle to pretty much every single tier 10, you get yourself literally a bunch of new tier 10 that are quite enjoyable to play. So of course, it's just a theory, just an hypothesis, but I truly hope that Wargaming will try something like that in the future. And I would like to get also your opinion, guys. Do you think that it's a good idea that Wargaming tries something like that or not? Maybe that they will watch this video and think to themselves, hey, that's a good idea. Or maybe that they already thought about it. Because yes, having a Type 71 with new equipments that are only available on this tank is great, but being able to pick different equipments for every single tank in the game is greater. So hopefully you enjoyed, you agree with me. If that's the case, feel free to subscribe, like and share. Tell me also your opinion in the comments. And personally, I'm gonna see you soon for a new video. Bye.